Thank you very much, Zoom host John F. McMullen, and thank you for everybody who happened to leave, which is sad, and for people who came late and showed up, you guys are triple plus awesome, to quote Orwell, as Happy New Tom was saying in one of his poems. These last poems I'm going to share with you are in a collection book, and actually part of this is a cover of a Scars Publications book that is John F. McMullen's stuff. A little part of this is in for the cover. This is a CC&D issue collection book called Over the River and Through the Woods. Titles are based on accepted writing within it, which is a piece that is in this set is called that. And I said, you know, having this Frank Lloyd Wright falling water thing seems like a perfect thing for Over the River and Through the Woods. So I thought I would share with you a couple of pieces from it. And you know, I think I did some from this show before, which these are more heartbreaking pieces. The first two I'm going to share with you are from a show that was in Hyde Park in Chicago that is not available anymore, Lorna, sorry. But I will tell you, there's Beach Poets that's during the summertime of Sunday every week, but and Wes Hines' thing at the gallery, which was my thing, but I'll tell you, and I don't know much, because I think after COVID a lot of things disappeared. So, and I left before.
Did you send me some things?
I'll send you what I know, so just so you know.
Okay.
But anywho, this first one I would like to share, which was from that show Journey, which were pieces about my mother. Brace yourself. This is Final Rally, the 2015 edit. Last night my sister called me after we all heard about how Mom couldn't stand up, and it looked like she was going to die very soon. Well, last night my sister called me and told me that she just talked to Dad and heard that Mom was feeling better, and that she uses the walker to get her medications at night, and she's still able to use the washroom, and she even had champagne with blackberries. She was feeling better. She even asked for wine coolers. and my sister and I laughed, and I said, she shouldn't be drinking alcohol. And she said, I don't care if the blackberries are covered in alcohol, it's food. And we were all so thrilled that she was eating something again, and we thought that she'd be able to hold on for just a little while longer. My brother described it as like her last rally, her last chance to be happy, to live. When I heard last night that Mom was drinking champagne with blackberries, I told my husband, well, we should buy some blackberries and celebrate Mom feeling better. The champagne is chilling, but we never got the blackberries last night. We had no idea that Mom would be celebrating with blackberries in her champagne in her final rally. So I've got this bottle of champagne in my refrigerator and no blackberries. They are my favorite fruit, you know. But I've got this bottle of champagne in my refrigerator and no blackberries. And I don't know what to celebrate anymore. She died almost immediately afterward. This was a show in Hyde Park called Journeys. I had a chapbook which I was giving to the host at the time, and so that was one of the shots from it for you guys. And I've got one more about this, and then it'll be goofy science stuff maybe, who knows. This is also from the show Journey that was in Hyde Park on March 28th, 2015 actually, and it is called The Messenger 2015 edit. It's strange. I've never been close to Dad, and he called me from across the country minutes after Mom died. He told me I was the only child he was calling, so it's my job to tell the brothers and sisters. So I scramble to leave them messages somewhere, call cell phones, break the news to everyone, act calm. It's my job to be the calm one. That's what I have to do. Left a message with my older brother. He called back shortly afterward. I told him the news. He started to break up immediately, then told me I have to hang up the phone now. Older sister called back. I told her the news. She just couldn't believe it. Mom was doing so well the day before. This doesn't make sense. Then she realized what I had to be going through, that I had to be the messenger, that I had to be rational and tell everyone that their mother just died. She's my mother too. Asked me if there was anything I needed. I couldn't think of any words. I'm the messenger, and I couldn't think of any words. I'm done. I'm not going to do any more on that one. Sorry, I shared a few of these from last month, but that is time to get a more energetic feel for the end of this next installment of Poetic License. Anywho, this is poetry I'm going to share with you from the periodic table that is not only in Over the River and Through the Woods, but also in the periodic table of poetry. You have to shut them both off. And this is the poem for Strontium. And this was also performed in a show at Gallery Cabaret, which you will hear about. I don't know how Wes does the shows at Gallery Cabaret now, but this poem was done at that place, and it's a poem for Strontium. People seem to think they need to eat a ton of red meat in order to be strong. They think eating slaughtered animal is the only way a human being is capable of getting themselves protein. And I know it may be a tightrope walk to get what you need. I know how you can turn a flame into Satan red, but that means we use it for red flares or even in red fireworks. I know that a part of you can turn radioactive, like when the Chernobyl explosion threw strontium-90 into the air. But yeah, we've learned that we can use strontium-90 in cancer therapy. And since strontium can get into your bones, since it's similar to calcium, salt strontium ranolate treats osteoarthritis. And the thing is, plants are higher in strontium than meat, and because it's like calcium, it stays in your bones. Because when we tested ancient bones, Austrian researchers suggested that Roman gladiators were vegetarians. Sorry, but I've heard from how run-down firemen started feeling better when they actually cut out red meat. Metaphorically, I mean, they didn't actually cut any red meat. No animals were harmed in this experiment to make people healthier. Because it just seems like the right strontium can help your bones. And it's also more common in plants and animals. Maybe people can realize that they don't need to eat a ton of red meat in order to be strong, because with a plant-based diet, a little strontium goes a long way. And the fun one with this show, this was a show called Mysticism versus Science, and Buddha, Dave, was doing the mysticism pieces, and I was doing science poems, periodic table poems, but of course I had to wear a red wig, which you can't really see, but they're in here. I've got this red wig on and a headband and glasses, because I might as well look as bizarre as possible while doing a show, I guess. But the last three, because they're short, I'm going to share 3 Twitter-length poems for Strontium that also, all of them not only appear in this book, yeah, not just strontium with my goofy face, but also ones for Twitter-length poems as well for it. Not only are in this book, but are also in the Twitterverse periodic table poetry book. I leave showing off books. I'm like the book lady. It's all about libraries. If only there'd be in more libraries or something, I guess. But I've got 3, count them, 3 different Twitter-length periodic table poems for Strontium. This first one's called Strontium Shows Schrodinger's Cat. Sorry, science content. Get ready, folks. An electron is as elusive as Schrodinger's cat. Until we detect it, we can't know where it is. See a strontium ion, missing electrons. Remaining electrons wonder which orbit to take. A high one? a low one, a smear of both. In 1/100,000th of a second, it shows the quantum leap. Sure. Sorry, there's your science content. I'm sorry, I like these ones. Anyway, this one doesn't. It shows where it was discovered. This one is titled Strontium Save Me. Split my skull thrice, from Strontium to Edinburgh. Please give me your strength. The original one came with an image. It's hard to see. I'm trying to show it off, but you know, you have to throw a shot with it. And actually, that was read back in the day at the, Lorna, I don't know if this would work, but maybe you could have a radio show appearance on WZRD Radio. The woman that does the Beach Poets also does a radio show. I was reading periodic table poems as evidenced by my lovely happy photos saying, check me out, periodic table stuff, and at WZRD Radio at Northeastern Illinois University. The last one I'm going to share with you, has an image. However, I get excited when I can have a video. And I had a video for the image for it, so I'm going to try to show the image that's going on at the same time. And this one is Strontium and 3D Time. These are all for number 38. And the periodic table, in case you guys care, it is for SR. This is Strontium and 3D Time. A box for a watch? For strontium atoms, jam-packed into an itty-bitty 3D cube, 1,000 times more dense than our measly 1D clocks, means we'll have this ultra-controlled quantum gas for eons of precision. We'll make it measure what we want, right down to Planck time. Don't be late. It's a little cube going. But I'm like, I could show this off. And that's a funny thing. I noticed that on Facebook. I'm like, oh, there's a memory where I did something about lutetium, and I have an oil drill video of a pumping thing that was talking about getting lutetium in Texas for electric cars. And I'm like, it's really kind of cool when you can have video going, but I happen to have it for strontium with 3D Time for that one. And thank you for watching my little show for that at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys are triple plus awesome, because this is better news than what I've got today. I know none of you guys care. I'm a Chicagoan, and I hear that right now the last game that the Chicago Bears are playing against the Packers. I won't call them what I really call them because I'm recording this. but I hear that we're losing to them right now, so at least I'm missing that before I watch the end of the final game of the season for the Chicago Bears. And she's laughing, Lorna, because she's like, I'm going to be moving to Chicago. You know, when I lived in Chicago, I never watched football, because you had things to do or whatever. The farther away I get, the more I'm like, I care about this. It says my football team. And so I'm doing goofy stuff like that. And that's why I'm borrowing John's shirt, because it doesn't say Bears or a number on it that might reverse in a Zoom meeting. And he just bought this gray shirt with the bear on it. And I'm like, that's cool. I will use that. So, hey, that's from here. I know, I recognize the art going on behind me at the same time. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for the science contact. Lorna Wood, you're going to be in Chicago. I will tell you what I know about open mics that are in the area and who to contact. And thank you all for staying. Thank you, people. I feel bad for those that had to leave, but thank you for those who even were here for a bit and left. And thank you for the people that came late and stayed through it, because you're all, you know, as to coin your Orwell reference, triple plus awesome. I don't have my phone ready because I'm doing a live stream, but the first Sunday of February will be the next installment. I didn't look for the date in advance, but I will post up things and send emails to everybody that's on the list, and I will have the event page on Facebook for anybody a week before it happens. Does anybody have any news that they need to report other than how...
I have a question.
Yes.
I found your poem about your mother quite moving. Was that a recent event?
She died in 2006.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she died a while ago.
Sorry for your loss, because I was very moved, so I was worried.
Because it's easy to remember, you know.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and actually, I'm technically a minister, and in '06, a friend of mine was getting married, and I was going to be the minister to his wedding in Seattle. And when he heard about my mother and the turn, he's like, well, Janet, and because he knew because he had gone through something insanely similar, and he's like, I know this is going to be really hard, so I'm going to say you don't have to be ministering the wedding. And I emailed him back, and I'm like, Brian, this is the one good thing that is making things all fine. She's going to be okay. Let me do this. And I was still the minister. I mean, she died a few weeks later, but she was on the other side of the country. There was nothing I could do, So I had that, and I'm like, I needed something like that positive when something so horrific was going on, and it was a strange but interesting time. But and as I said, that was a while ago. And then I was doing a show in Hyde Park for this one time thing that's not going on anymore. And I said, I'm going to do a thing called Journeys, and I'm going to do all these pieces about my mother that I had written before. And that's why they said 2015 edit, because some of them were edited in different versions from what the originals were. So I wrote a lot about my mom. And the weird thing is I flew. I've got the time to talk. I was flying to visit her in September, and my dad calls and says, come earlier. If you've got to do the first class, I'll pay it. That's fine. She's doing really poorly. Come as soon as you can. So I had a flight to come from the 10th to the 18th, and I was like, all right, I'm coming on September 1st. So I've got 18 days. And she died on the 31st. So I didn't even get to see her. And then I was there alone with my dad, whom, as I had said in the thing, I'm like, I don't talk to my dad much. And I can't sit there and bawl to him because he's got it so much worse, and all the other brothers and sisters are like, well, we're going now, bye. And my husband, and I'm like, okay. And so what did I do? Just did type, and wrote a lot of stuff. And that's why I had to edit and cut down things for a later show for it. But thank you for asking. And that's such a happy note. And so, does anybody have anything else that they'd like to report? I don't know if Happy knew. Yes.
We're part of the Table Rock Poetry Festival in National Poetry Month, you and I. And that's in Salado, Texas. And we're doing an anthology, dear Lorna and John, for animal rescue. Poems under or 20 lines focused on that theme, so that at least they might survive us. And that the deadline is January 31st, and it will be launched on April 22nd, 27th at the Table Rock Festival site on Royal Street, Salado. It's a big 500-seat theatre, outdoor theatre.
And I've enjoyed going to it and reading for it with you guys in the past.
You were fabulous. You were absolutely fabulous. You documented it, you performed extremely well, and you really showed what poetry and performance can do. So thank you for that, Janet, and I await your call. And maybe an animal will be rescued.
I mentioned talking about saving fish and cats, and then about how animals are killed from humanity and where they're found in naval bases around that. I've got so much stuff that I put into this short little thing, so really crazy. I'm like, the lines are even shorter than some of the long ones. So I'm like, I think I've got it, man. So anyway.
I don't know that I have anything, but if I should have something, where would I send it?
Just worldpoet@rocketmail.com. Worldpoet, one word, @rocketmail.com.
Oh,
Worldpoet, W-I-L.
No, it's my accent. WORLDPOET.
Worldpoet.
Yeah, as in like the world, I guess.
I hope that wasn't heard in the live feed, which I stopped. World, WORLDPOET. At Rocket Mail?
At Rocket Mail.
So, and if you wanted to know it.
I thought you said Rocket Man.
No.
That's what we think, Elton John. That's what's happened.
And I don't know, and I just saw a thing from John saying that he had to go, and we're talking. Should we be closing the meeting up, my darling? John F. McMullen.
Thank you, John. Thanks for holding us.
Thank you.
We will be here in the beginning of February, and because you were like, you've got to be going, I think, so we shouldn't be just sitting here talking. And thank you. Thank each and every one of you. You're more than triple plus awesome, each and every one of you. And I will see, if I don't see you sooner, I will see you all in the beginning of February. Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye, Dan.
Here we go.